I'm very happy to be here with John J. from Fischer. John, welcome to Crested Butte. Nice to make some turns with you the last couple of days, though we were actually in some fairly large groups. We were rolling deep, but still, nevertheless, turns.
Yeah, that was a heavy crew. There's some big names in there.
Like yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. But let's cut to the chase. I'm very personally interested to talk about this new Ranger line of skis because I have yet to ski any of these. We've had some snow rolling in, and I'm doing my best to, figure out over the last couple of days of the summit, I should really ski this thing right now. And I keep thinking about the fact that we're going to have I think I'm like playing weather windows, and I think for some of the skis in the lineup, they're going to be better suited to kind of, not right after it snowed 8 inches or whatever it did last night. So I'm kind of picking my spots. But I know a lot of people are interested in this new Ranger line. They want to know what you all have done with this. A lot of comments on Blister, some hand wringing, some concern. What have you done to the Ranger line? So I'm happy to have you here to talk about, in fact, what Fischer has done with the series.
Yeah, I'm stoked to be here to set the record straight.
So maybe we just start with like the overarching series. What have you done, if anything, to like the Ranger series in general? And then maybe we'll start getting into some of the specific models.
Yeah, definitely. So the Ranger line is all new. We've eliminated the FR and the TI connotations. In doing so, we're trying to not confuse the consumer, right? Because then they don't walk into a shop and they see a 94 FR and a 99 TI and they have to ask what the difference is. Everything is just Ranger now. We've got 5 main skis in the lineup. So we've got the Ranger 90, 96, 102, 108, and 116. All of the skis are built with Fischer's World Cup race DNA, for sure, but they're also really trying to express freeride skiing. And freeride skiing is definitely a pretty nuanced concept. I mean, even here in Crested Butte, you've got the long history of the Crested Butte Extremes, and we all know from history that the best run doesn't always win. Just ask Seth Morrison way back in the mid-90s, right? So freeride's really nuanced and really quite difficult to do. And so by starting with our World Cup heritage and then working with some of the best freeriders in the world, whether that's Sverre Lillequist, Lindsay Dyer, Kyle Smain, a whole lot of really great skiers, I think we've just totally knocked it out of the ballpark with this new lineup.
Question for you. You might not accept this formulation. When Ranger was first introduced, I thought that this was maybe more focused on this kind of category of like 50-50 skis where ski it in bounds, go tour on it. That really seemed to me like that was kind of what the Ranger series stood for. First of all, would you accept that? And second, do you see the kind of evolution of the Ranger series to still line up with that, or are you thinking of it a bit different these days?
Kind of looking at what consumers are looking for when they're buying a pair of skis is, for the most part, everyone still skis at the resort, right? But a lot of people are very interested in backcountry skiing. They might not be able to afford an entire setup for the backcountry, however. So they really want one setup that can do it all. They want to be able to ski in the resort probably more often than not, and then maybe go on a hut trip with friends, start getting into ski touring until they realize it's really difficult and it takes a lot of work, and then they realize riding lifts is really fun. But still, they might get into it depending on, whatever their situation is. And so you have that with boots right now. You want boots with walk mode, grip walk, and tech inserts. You can tour in them, but the walk modes are constructed so that they can still perform almost at the same level as an alpine boot. You have that with bindings right now, whether it's the Shift or the Marker Duke PT, the cast system. They're all alpine bindings that you can tour with. And really, I think that suits the Fischer Ranger line pretty well. It is an alpine ski. You're going to have fun with it at the resort. You can still tour with it, though. It's not the lightest ski on the market by any means, but it's still very nice to take into the backcountry if you're willing to work for it.
Yeah.
Really, though, I think what people are looking for the most is they want to ski more. I mean, if you drive I-70 on a Saturday and it hasn't snowed in a month, like this last Saturday, it's still bumper to bumper traffic. People just want to ski more, even if they can't get more days on snow. And so really what we want to do with this ski line is help people get more out of their days on snow, even if those actual numbers are limited. When they're up there, they get the most out of their day, and having skis that can help them do that is a huge part of this Ranger line.
So in summary, sounds like from what you've just said, no, the overall concept of the Ranger series hasn't really changed too much from its initial launch. It is still about put whatever binding you want on it, ski it inbounds if you like, take it touring. It's a bit more of a like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Go do it on this ski. And okay. Let's start going through the models. I'm very curious here. Why don't we start on the narrow end of the spectrum, and we'll work our way up to wider. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Before I get into like really specific models, one thing I'd like to just point out is technology that we've put into every ski, and then how we've changed that for each model based on different characteristics that we want the ski to do. A big part of the story for Ranger now is what we're calling shape TI. So the only metal that's in the ski is this Titanol plate that you can actually see. It goes out further than a regular binding plate, which is what we had on the FR series. So starting at the narrowest of the line, this shape TI is actually the longest, right? So it reaches out further into the tip and tail. I don't actually have a 90 here to show, but you can definitely tell on the 96 compared to the 102 compared to the 108, the metal is noticeably longer in the tip and tail than it is for the 108 on the 96. The 90, it's even longer than that. But one of the more interesting concepts about the 90 is that it's only a poplar wood core as opposed to poplar beech like the rest of the line. So by using a softer wood, essentially, with more Titanol, makes that ski incredibly easy to get on edge. But thanks to that Titanol really reaching out, you can still charge on it. That's been a ski, when people get on it, they're blown away by how capable it is and really how easy it is to ski, but also how fun it is to ski. And it's really just a great entry point for a lot of people looking for 90 millimeters underfoot, all mountain ski. Next up in the line is the 96, which we have here in the mango yellow and then also in the gray. And this is a great thing to bring up as well for the entire line. We do have two top sheet colors for the 90, the 96, and the 102, but no difference in the ski. We don't have women specific models. As we were just talking about in the ski design upstairs, really it's more focused on the size of the skier and the ability of the skier.
Yeah. Not
at all related to what bathroom you use or anything like that.
Totally. And by the way, I mean, I think that's a really important point. And as I just said upstairs in our ski design panel, I think it's the right approach. And so I absolutely, this part of the Ranger series, I knew how you were talking about these things, how you were bringing out the product, offering a couple of different colors of top sheets, pick whichever one you want.
Yep.
I'm totally on board with that. Just me personally. But I just, as I said upstairs, I think this idea of telling a design story and not just a story, literally changing design based on gender makes no sense to me.
Right.
And I actually think this is something where I'd like to see more of the industry kind of follow what you're doing with this. I think it's the right move. I think those design stories are kind of dishonest, frankly. And it's more about what is your size? How aggressive do you ski? And that doesn't matter, as you said. I mean, whether you're a man or a woman, that's not the relevant factor here.
Right.
So I actually, just me personally, I think this is the right approach. So maybe I can ask that though, while we're talking about it. Have you found yet, in terms of the marketing of this, that one of the things we often hear is that, well, from different manufacturers is, well, we still talk about a women's specific ski often because retail partners want that. And if someone walks into the store, shops want to direct a person to that side of the ski wall or that side of the ski wall. I'm just curious, so far, have you found that to be a bit of a problem with retailers, or do people seem to understand what you're doing, or too early to tell?
I would say that's probably the main reason we have two different colors, is for that shop that has a women's wall and a men's wall, or a unisex wall. That way we can have skis on both.
Yeah.
Because if you just have one ski
Yeah.
on both, then people start to ask questions of why I don't understand why these are women specific, but it's the same ski. If you have two different colors, you can be on both walls.
Mm-hmm.
And then also too, because the whole line is made up to the largest size in both colors, if a guy sees the yellow 96 or this Celeste 102 and they really like it, we make that up to a 187 for the 96 or 192 for the 102. And they can have it too. I mean, we found huge success with that with the pink 102.
Totally.
Because we also have a blue 102 FR. And, you know, that's a little bit easier to get right now than the pink one because everyone wanted the pink one. But because we found that success, that's obviously why we still have two different colors, specifically for that men's wall and women's wall.
And maybe the shops just every other day could switch the color of the skis to the men's and women's walls. Yeah. That would be a good touch. I probably should actually ask you this, the most important question I'm going to ask. No pink ski?
So no pink ski. Pink ski. You know, I talked with Matt Berkowitz the other day, and he, so a little bit of background about me, I guess. I worked for Ski Magazine for 4 years running the ski test there. And the year that the Ranger 102 FR launched, it wasn't in the magazine. The testers didn't like it at the time. 4 years later, the pink ski won awards. It was one of the top skis. Exact same ski. And so Matt was kind of teasing me a little bit, like, oh, you changed the top sheet, huh? And it really did that much better? And no, I changed the test and the testers and brought in a little bit more free ride specific testers. And so that ski naturally started to do better. But what I'm trying to say is that ski was 4 years old. It's one of those skis that is iconic and awesome, but the next generation of it is that much better. And we really tried to take what everyone liked about the 102 FR and put it into the entire line and really make the entire line have elements of that and really bring out what people liked and put them in the whole lineup. So.
Let's keep it moving. So where should we go next in terms of talking about the specific models?
Yeah. So 96, the yellow one and the gray one. Also, like the 90, I should point out, they're a bit more directional. So they have a bit more
than they were.
I guess it depends on what you want to say they were. Because going back to, we don't have FR and TI anymore.
Yeah.
We just have Ranger.
Yeah.
I would say in terms of shape, the 90 and the 96 would be more recognizable in the TI line. They don't have as much metal by any means. Again, just one sheet of metal that you can see very nicely on the ski here. But they're directional, so they still have early rise and rocker, but not nearly as much as the 102 and up. So they're for a skier who is, well, I shouldn't say that. Actually, you don't like it when I tell you who a ski is for.
No, I'm curious. I'll tell you later if I agree with you.
Skiers that tend to gravitate towards that are ones who really want edge hold and they really value being able to make a precise turn. They're still free ride skis, so you can still charge on them. They still float well, and thanks to a great rocker profile, the 96 has actually been one of my favorite skis to get on of the line as well.
Huh.
And my background is mostly free ride. Yeah. And the 96 is really, I find for Colorado in particular, a perfect all mountain ski. Handles well in powder, but it also is super, super fun on days when it hasn't snowed a lot, which has been most of the season so far. And then, the 102. And the 102 is definitely the hardest ski to create because the 102 FR was so iconic and so many people love that ski And you really have to figure out where can you go from there. And what we really dialed down in the new 102 is bringing out a little bit more playfulness, a little bit more forgiving, but not in anything like you might presume by me saying forgiving. We didn't make it soft by any means. We just made it so it's just a little bit more approachable. That 102 FR was really good for really good skiers. Really liked it. And the way it was designed, you almost like earned it. Like once you figured that ski out, you're like, this is a great ski. And really what we've tried to do is reduce that learning curve so that when you get on the 102, you can figure it out really quickly, but you can also just rail on it and go as hard as you have in the past with the 102 FR. Like I said, that took a long time to figure out and develop and process, but I think we've really nailed it for sure.
Well, I hope so, because unlike your ski testers from 4 years ago at your test, first of all, I've never skied the pink one, and that 102 FR has been one of my favorite skis since it came out. It's one of my favorite skis for this particular mountain, Crested Butte. And I think its blend of quickness and precision and stability is pretty unique. Though, if you were getting sloppy or the legs were shot at the end of the day and you're flying fast through big moguls, like that tail could become a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm very curious to see what I think of the, because at least how you're describing it, I'm not mad yet, and
no one's been mad earlier. Just for
okay, that's good. That's good.
No one's come back really angry.
Is that right? I mean, that's cool. I mean, that's one of the fun things of the last several days, right? Is like you've been gathering some feedback from people here, and so far so good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, your tester Zach today wouldn't give it back either.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, we gotta go down," and I was like, "Oh, grab the skis back." He's like, "No, I gotta take it out for the next group." Like,
okay.
I'm stoked.
Okay.
So that was fun. He was fun to ski with too. He's ripping.
Huh.
And this would also be a good point to bring up some of the changes in shape. The 102 FR, as well as most of the FR lineup, had what we called arrow shape. So that had carbon in the tip.
Yeah. And
then also the wood core, as well as the rest of the ski, was milled so it almost had like a dome, right?
Yep.
I wish I had a piece of paper, because if you take a piece of paper and you kind of bend it hot dog style, but downward, you really increase the amount of stress you can put on it before it bends, right? You make the paper stronger by bending it, by making it an arch. And then all of a sudden, once you get to that breaking point, it kind of snaps, right? If you take a piece of paper and do that, you can bring it, it'll bend, and then snap. And that's exactly what happened with the old 102 FR, is it was really, really stiff until you figured out that breaking point. And then once you figured out that breaking point, it was super fun. And then when you get tired and you couldn't quite get to that breaking point again in terms of flex, then it became really hard. New skis, we took out all of the carbon and they're flat. So no more arrow shape design. And yeah, that kind of blunted shovel definitely adds a bit of trust, we've found, with people testing it. It looks a lot more stronger, durable, and trustworthy, is like literally what people described, compared to that like curvy shape of the arrow shape design at the shovel. And then also in the tail, can't really see it, but we added a tail protector. I don't know if anyone follows Ski Town All-Stars on Instagram, but you can tell people really don't know how to carry their skis, and they drag them and they just get super beat up. And so we had some durability issues with that arrow shape in particular. And so we've corrected that and made these skis more durable with that tail protector in the back, as well as the just general changes in shape.
Okay.
Moving up to the 108. The 108 is totally new territory for Fischer. This is a true modern freeride ski that I think is like the next generation of that 102 FR in terms of like family tree. Like the new 102 is here, and the new 108 comes right next to it. It's a wider platform than the 102, but it has a tighter turn radius. So what that does is gives it a little bit more agility, a little bit quicker turns in places with the trees, and a ski this wide. The feedback that I've gotten so far from a number of different testers is they can't believe how well it turns for a ski this wide.
Which is not something one necessarily would have said about the previous Ranger 107 Ti.
Yeah.
That was a lot, actually beautiful carver on a groomer, but in messed up, tough, weird, mogulled, steep terrain, I don't know many people were talking about how easy it was to carve that ski. At least we only ever skied it in a 189. That was a pretty big, pretty heavy ski.
Yeah.
Not that stiff of a shovel, but like you needed to be on it. And so you're saying this is, for those who loved that Ranger 107, maybe this won't be their favorite ski ever, but that ski, I suspect, will maybe appeal to a broader range of skiers.
Yeah. I would almost say the new 102 has some of that 107 Ti spirit to it. You
Really?
can still rail on it. Absolutely.
The new 102 is more like the old 107.
Well, I should
I'll let you
clarify
know. I'll let
that.
you know in a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
weeks.
Okay.
No.
And
that's just
not in terms of ease of use. The 102 in terms of ease of use is way better.
Okay.
In terms of performance on edge, I think the 102
Just straight carving.
yeah,
Okay.
can totally rail. It's got a longer turn radius than the 108 does as well. So because of that, it really can make really big GS borderline super G arcs.
Okay. So 107, we kind of waved goodbye to that one. You're not talking about how this 108 is just a bit of a tweak, on terms of that 107. We said goodbye.
Yeah, totally new ski. And really just uncharted terrain for Fischer in terms of a pure freeride ski at this waist width and at this turn radius is absolutely phenomenal.
I will say today, skiing with our reviewer, Dylan Wood, I was like, hey, Dylan, let's switch skis. Because I wasn't loving the particular ski I was on, and Dylan was on the 108, and he just said no. So, yeah. So I fired him. So Dylan won't be reviewing for us anymore, but yeah.
Let him write the review first.
Okay. Yeah, you probably want that. Then I'll fire him. Okay. Yeah.
I can't say enough good things about the 108. That's the first ski that I was like, I gotta get on this. And I've not been disappointed at all.
Okay.
It's been a great ski. I've been using it because we got just enough snow here in Crested Butte to cover up the rocks. Not quite enough to bury them. Just cover them up.
We like our rocks here.
Can't see any other sharp.
Yeah.
But yeah, 108. Highly recommended for anyone to try, especially if you like the 102 FR. Try the new 102 and try the 108. They're very much kindred spirit.
Should we talk about the 116?
Yes.
Okay.
For the past 4 years, the whole Ranger line was good for good skiers. Really good skiers and great skiers really gravitated towards the line. The 115 FR was big, and the last iteration was very bright yellow. Looked like we just took a bunch of highlighters to it because we wanted it to be very important. That was good for very strong, very good skiers. You mentioned the 107 Ti. The 115 was kind of like that on steroids. It was a burly ski. And so we kind of took all that feedback and made the 116 way more versatile and way more playful. That ski was worked on very much by Trace Cook, a Fischer athlete who lives in Whitewater, BC. And he's a former Freeride World Tour competitor, very, very good skier. And he really wanted us to liven it up, make it more playful, more poppy and fun compared to the 115, which is very much a hard driver. And also, for a ski that wide, you're probably putting that in a quiver. It's not going to be your one ski wonder.
Yeah.
And so, going back to the principle of like people want to ski more. Now, when you have a powder day, more often than not, at least by most of the major resorts here in Colorado, 10 a.m., it's getting skied out pretty quick. By 1 o'clock, you're skiing kind of soft crud. It's not
Mhm.
even powder anymore. But say you bring out that powder ski that you got specifically for those big dumps, that ski's still going to be fun all day. We've added a new level of versatility to it that even when you're done skiing POW, you still want to ski more on it, whether that's getting back to the lift, getting back to the snowcat, wherever you take a fat ski like that. And it's a barrel of monkeys. It's a really fun ski.
Huh. I'm really looking forward to checking them all out. And it's been a while since I actually been on the 115 and remember some really distinctive ride qualities about it that were pretty interesting. But, you know, for that kind of always powder day, it wasn't a ski that I was breaking out all the time. I always called it was one of the best carving powder skis I'd ever been on,
Mhm.
and if that was your approach to the mountain, I thought it was fantastic. So I'm very intrigued to kind of check out the 116 and frankly, all of these, see what y'all have done.
Yeah.
So any last thoughts on the line? Thanks for walking us through the models. Anything else we should know?
I think Fischer is a really interesting brand. Depending on where you are in the USA, determines what you think of the brand. When I started working at Fischer not too long ago, a lot of people associate them with the Nordic. And we make amazing Nordic skis, hands down. Whereas if you go back east, from what I've been told, they're known very much for their groomer skis and piste skis and carving. And then obviously we have athletes like Bryce Bennett and Steven Nyman and a slew of Austrians on the World Cup. So some people think we're a race brand. What I would encourage anyone to do is go out and try the Ranger line, or go out and try the RC1 GT, 86 GT. Go out and try Fischer. Give us a shot in a way with, kind of a clear mind, an open mind, and see what you think. Try to leave those preconceived notions behind, because Fischer's not the brand it was 10 years ago. And we're doing some absolutely amazing things that I am super, super excited about. And yeah, you've been doing a really great job on these panels I sat through the testing one in particular, and everyone skis a ski for them at first. But I think what wasn't addressed was preconceived notions of, oh, Fischer, they're a Nordic brand. Oh, Fischer, they're a race brand. Try to throw that out the window. And not just for Fischer. Obviously, I'm wearing a Fischer hat. Got to promote my brand. But I think that's a great mentality to have for anyone right now with any ski brand. Because ski brands are changing, and they're all coming up with a new way to look at them. And I think this line is one of the most amazing skis I've been on personally, that now that I've been trying other skis that I thought were awesome, and they don't feel as lively and as fun. And yeah, maybe they're not for you, but I have a feeling they probably will be.
We'll tell you what, let's ski some more tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll finally break some of these out and we'll talk.
Sounds good.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you breaking this down for us. And I am still very curious to see what we have over here. So we'll find out tomorrow.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
We'll be there. Thanks for everything, Jonathan. We'll see you next time.
Cool.